HOA Lending Exchange is the modern way to garner competitive lending concepts for your community association when the time comes for an HOA loan. Gone are the days of manually shopping around for a bank that would lend to your association. HOA Lending Exchange brings competitive HOA lenders to you by providing a platform where the most competitive lenders can anonymously review your association's lending needs and put forth their best lending concepts for your review. Just 3 business days after you submit your HOA loan inquiry, you'll have competitive lending concepts to review. You decide whether or not to initiate a conversation with any particular lender based on their proposed lending concepts. The service is completely free for borrowers, and you'll only have to describe your loan needs once for all HOA lenders to be alerted to your loan request. It really is that easy. The first step is to register on the site. Although you are going to be prompted to enter your name and other contact information, it is important to remind you that this information does not go out to any of the lenders until you ask that they contact you. Until you review their lending concepts and ask them to contact you, all the association and your contact information is kept completely anonymous. The only thing that all the potential lenders are going to see is the data you provide. It is data they would normally be asking for in the outdated HOA loan shopping method for the bank, where the bank determines if the association fits their lending criteria. HOA Lending Exchange is a system that allows you to provide your information just once, and then every available lender is competing for your business by putting forth their best lending concept for your review and approval. When you hit the Continue Verify button, an email is sent to the address you provided with a verification code that allows you to come back to the site and verify your email address. The reason for the verification step is to be sure that the site is able to communicate with you. If the verification email does not seem to arrive, first check your junk mail folder and check the accuracy of the email address being provided. If the verification email is still not to be found, click on the Information tab at the top of the site and either call or email us for assistance. Now that your email address is verified, you're good to go. It's time to tell bankers about your association. There are a set of data points that you might not have at the top of your head. It could be more productive to step through the input process while you have access to the association's current financial information. The first screen is information about the property. The information you will need is the association's name, the type of association, your relationship with the association, and whether or not the association is under developer control. Please note that if your association is under developer control, there's no need to proceed. We do not facilitate lending offers for developer-controlled associations. The next input is the total number of declared and dues-paying units or lots. The next 2 fields of information are identifying how many of the units are residential use or commercial use. These 2 fields together must be equal to the total number of units. The next field is for non-owner occupied units, also known as investor-owned. This can be a slightly complicated figure to derive. The primary definition is that the unit is not intended for use by the owner and that there is a long-term lease. Second homes do not count in this figure. Units placed in a rental pool should be considered investor-owned. The average unit price can also be a slightly tricky estimate. If you do not have detailed information, take your best guess. The challenge lies in that most communities have differing units with a wide range of price points. The last field is to enter the state that the association is located in. At this point, or any point along the way, you can save the data and return to the site at a later time. When you come back to the site, this incomplete loan will show up in that section of the dashboard. Or you can click Next and go to the next step right now. Clicking Next also saves the data you have just entered. The next input page is for project information. Insert the loan amount you would like. Insert the project cost. This number can be higher or lower than the loan amount. The project costs can include all possible costs that are to be incurred to have the project accomplished. The next input field asks where the rest of the money is going to come from if the loan amount is less than the project cost. Banks need to know how the total cost of the project can be paid for. The field for how long the project will take offers the bank a perspective on how long a credit line might be needed to fund your project. The next field is asking how many years you would like to repay the loan after a credit line period has ended. The The last field allows you to select the various reasons for the loan. You may select more than one reason. Again, you may save the data input this far and leave the site. You can retrieve the loan opportunity by returning to your dashboard and going to the Incomplete Inquiry section. Or you may click Next, which saves the data input and then takes you to the next input screen. The next screen is for financial information. This is an area where you might need access to the financial records of the association in order to enter data accurately. These are key fields for banks to determine if the association is creditworthy per any individual bank's lending policy. The 4 fields are posting the association's total existing regular and special assessment level as is budgeted for this existing full fiscal year. How many units are 30 days past due? What are the dollars that are past due for 30 days? This is only assessment funds and not fees, billbacks, or penalties. The next 2 fields are the same information, except that the information is based on being 60 days past due. Some bank lending policies respond to information based on 30-day delinquencies. Other banks pay attention to information of delinquencies over 60 days past due. Again, you may save the data input this far and leave the site. You can retrieve the opportunity by returning to your dashboard and going to the Incomplete Inquiry section. Or you may click Next, which saves the data input and then takes you to the next input screen. The last input screen has to do with deposit account information. The lending policies of some banks require a supporting deposit account be placed with their bank if a loan is provided. Other banks will not lend unless an association's entire deposit activity is handled with their bank. Still, other banks view the loans as transactional and are not concerned about deposit accounts. This section allows you to communicate your views on placing deposit accounts with any bank that is providing a loan. Do not be afraid to tell banks that you will not place a deposit account with them, but understand that such a decision might limit the range of banks that will bid on your loan opportunity. The first input field is asking for the total amount of all cash balances as reported on your account statements from the most recent month end. This figure is needed so that banks can understand how much cash is available because they again have certain measures as part of their lending policies. At this point, you may again save the data input this far and leave the site. You can retrieve the opportunity by returning to your dashboard and going to the Incomplete Inquiry section. Or you may click the Submit Final Review button, which saves the data input and then takes you to a screen that allows you to review the data input. At this point, you will not have issued the loan inquiry to any banks. In this screen, which is a final review before your loan request is issued to anyone, you may review all of the data points to be sure they appear accurately entered. If you want to change a data point, click the Update Loan button. If you're pleased with the data, click the Submit Loan button. Clicking this button will distribute your loan request anonymously to all the banks that fit the criteria you have set. Clicking the Submit Loan button causes you to be taken to your dashboard. You will see the loan you just submitted in the Active Inquiry section of the dashboard. At this point, your loan request will be responded to by interested banks within 3 business days. You'll receive emails that update you on when the loan concepts have been provided by all the banks that fit the loan scenario you have just provided. Good luck!